Good morning, everyone. Today's the 26th of November. We are officially only a couple of days away from Turkey Day. We have the SPY again moving back free market 599.06. So we're going to come in here, spread this out. Looks to me like the SPY is again struggling up into this area, back up into this resistance area. We're 599.06, so we're right in this area, right near this green line right here. We did see a pretty big reversal bar. Let me come over here to this other chart. We saw a pretty big reversal. Took a look yesterday at the sector spiders. And like I said, we had a moderate upward trending yesterday with energy down and technology down a bit. You can see looking here at an NVIDIA. We come over here to the SPY, and of course, I've drawn quite a bit on it, but you can see this rejection bar. So that's what I wanted to point out again, is that we are going over a period here of rejection. So at 599.12, we'll likely get another period of rejection, potentially up in this area, before we eventually get this breakdown event. Now, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't actually broken downward yet, given this move. But Bitcoin has moved down, gold has moved down. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Try to keep this video a little shorter. So be aware, though, that if we get up in this area, we could extend a bit longer. We have all of this time here, really going all the way out into December 10th through 15th, roughly out to here, for us to go ahead and hit that anomaly phase. So when we're talking about the anomaly that I've been warning about up over here, I want you to be aware that we're talking really visual order, bring to front. There's another one back there. We're really talking about that anomaly event starting somewhere around, or I expected it to start a little before Thanksgiving, which is right here, a couple of days away, and that it would likely end sometime between the 10th and the 15th or 20th of December. So really kind of, in this area here is where I think it's going to potentially end. So let's see what happens today. We've got a lot of news. We've got a shortened week. Let's go to gold and silver real quick. Yesterday's video was far too long. I got to keep them shorter. So we're seeing silver start to recover here. Beautiful move back to the upside after this big pullback. There was some talk yesterday, and I spent quite a bit of time in between Monday's stuff, which is phone calls or what have you. I'm over helping my dad right now. But anyway, long and short of it, there was a lot of talk about Japan and China selling U.S. treasuries and how that can, reflect a move in the dollar and in metals. And that makes a lot of sense with what I'm talking about with in terms of the predatory Fed. You've heard me talk about the predatory Fed theory, or at least my theory, that the Fed is kind of dope walking into a mechanism that for the past 12, 15 years, that inadvertently sets up a very hard transition through the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years for the global markets. It's essentially a theory that the Fed, by keeping interest rates so low for so long and kind of being the last to really raise rates through COVID and through the post global financial crisis, we set up a scenario where we sparked this huge amount of growth throughout the world, excessive borrowing of very cheap US dollars. And everybody, I'm thinking the world went off like teenagers with a gold card and spent, not realizing that the Fed is going to have to raise rates. And if you cannot repay the debt, you are then going to have to deal with the consequences of, either either, foregoing on the debt, defaulting on the debt, or some sort of extreme austerity. Now I see the Fed keeping rates higher, moderately higher, up about 2.5%, I think, for the next 4 or 5 years, moving between, say, 2.5% and 5.5%, trying to manage risk. And I think gold and silver are reflecting that effect right now. We've got a Trump presidency coming in. He's promising severe austerity for the government. I mean, we're in a point where we can do it. I mean, every government can theoretically do it. It's just it's a hard process to take on and to complete. But let's say in the first year or two that Trump is able to knock out 800, $900 billion out of the U.S. Annual budget, and by reducing expenses and agencies and bloating in government, and also maybe get the Pentagon in order with their minus $800 billion or whatever a year that they seem to lose. But again, what that would do is that would put the U.S. on a very strong pedestal related to capability. We would now be operating at one, 2/3 or maybe 55% of our previous budget. We would have more money to pay down our debt. We'd have more money to do different things. And unless the foreign governments actually followed through and did something similar, they would be stuck with the same, expenses that they had to begin with. Maybe they don't have the bloat that we have. I don't know. But I think that's going to translate into a massive amount of fear for gold and silver. And what that means is that the markets, as we transition, are going to really skyrocket, gold and silver. So now here, I'll come in here weekly and spread this out. And what I want you to realize is that I've tried to draw this before, but gold and silver are very capable of, and I did this just recently for my followers and subscribers, is that gold is very capable of moving up into this 3 to 4,000, then 5 to 7,000, and then higher. I'll just leave you with that. That would mean that silver over here down to a weekly chart, and again, ignore my drawings are going to appear here as very narrow. Silver, in my opinion, has the ability to move up to 80, $85 here, probably into the $40 range first, then up into the 60, 65, then up into 80, 84, and then higher. And again, we're looking at phases here. Okay, the next phase for gold is to move into what's called the breakaway phase, which will be about here. Then we move into the expansion phase. Then we move into the parabolic phase. So, oh, go away. I didn't know how I did that. So let me try that again. We move into the expansion phase, the breakaway phase. Then we move into the expansion phase. Then we move up into the parabolic phase. Okay? And that is really what we're looking for here. The expansion phase, in my opinion, is going to put gold up into about the 4,000 range. Let me redraw that because I want to make sure. The expansion phase is going to put us up into this area. Sorry, the breakaway phase. Then the expansion phase puts us up here. And then we move into parabolic trending. So here's the range, theoretically, of the breakaway phase. Here's the range, which is about 2.5 times larger than the breakaway phase of the expansion phase. And this lines up very, very well because I expect we're going to get a moderate low because of the austerity measures setting up in 2026. This puts us March, April, maybe a little later, 2026 for the markets, sending gold and silver higher. And then we move into this big parabolic phase. And we're doing the same thing kind of over here. Silver will mirror what gold is doing. Okay, so silver is going to mirror what gold is doing all along. Okay, so let's come back over here, flip back to the QQQ. QQQs are kind of interesting in the sense that we don't have that real threat of breaking out up here, which again adds a little context to my anomaly pattern. And again, we're getting right into that anomaly range right here. You know, you can see we're getting kind of very close. This is a 2-hour chart. So if we do get that breakdown today, we're at 508.22. We're up in this middle area here. I really do believe that we're going to be looking at a rollover type of pattern down into this anomaly pattern. We have the SPY pattern is a inside breakaway pattern in bullish trending with bearish bias in trending mode. Given my bias towards this breakaway to the downside and this anomaly pattern, I kind of think that we're going to be looking at a downward cycle trend today. We'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, Bitcoin collapsed yesterday. Japanese markets were down yesterday. Dollar was down a bit yesterday, meaning from the 107.50 area, it's down to about 106.80 something. Long and short of it is, I'm still prepared for this anomaly event. And I still think that we move into these lows here into this anomaly range. Let me come over here because it hasn't played out exactly as I expected. Into this anomaly range, maybe down into here throughout the rest of the year. I think this is a very common structure here, guys. I'll leave these for now, but I mean, obviously, we didn't break down into the anomaly event, yesterday or the day before, meaning end of last week. But I believe we're moving into this anomaly event. I think that the shifting of the debt issues and the new presidential election or inauguration is going to be a key factor here. And you can already see, German index is down, UK is down slightly, Japan is down slightly, Bitcoin is down to 91, almost 92,000. Gold and silver, as we just looked at, we're moving a bit higher. We'll come in here and auto scale, go back to 1 hour. And I think we're going to be moving towards that recovery phase. You can see that silver's trying right now to move quite a bit higher, but I think we're going to be moving back up into that rally phase. I think this was, panic selling yesterday related to the U.S. Treasuries that were being sold and fear that the markets were moving into some kind of a anomaly event. Like I said, the big move, we're taking a look right now at Bitcoin. The big move down currently taking place in Bitcoin. And if you saw my morning video yesterday, I had trouble posting it because I think it was too large, but I highlighted this flagging formation indicating that as long as we stayed below this level, we were looking at a breakout way. That's this green level right here. And again, breaking down below this B level was a breakdown. And I suggested we would come down to these areas, consolidate, and maybe move a little bit deeper. These were drawn yesterday morning. So we're now moving strongly to the downside. We're looking at trying to find support maybe around 90,000, 91,000, consolidating for a bit and then breaking downward. Remember, this is still well within my anomaly event. If I were to come over here and try to highlight the anomaly event, we're looking at a range of approximately here to approximately here. There's the anomaly event. And what do I call the anomaly event? It's basically a low liquidity breakdown of price, a pullback breakdown of price setting up because of the low liquidity. You've got a lot of traders this year who were out of the markets before the election. You've got a lot of traders that are taking a break. They're not getting very aggressive right now knowing that the markets could do some wonky things with regard to President Biden leaving office and President Trump coming in. I think we're going to be looking at more towards the end of the year, early next year, 2025, getting back into a rotation. So, what I would suspect would be likely the case here for Bitcoin, let me move this out of the way, is that we are going to see a deeper potential move. And this isn't a guess. Okay. I would suspect that we break down into flagging, break down here into some deeper low, possibly into this area, build a base into the end of the year, maybe struggle through a brief upturn and then a deeper downturn, retesting the 72,000 area. And then by the end of the year, really potentially start to move back into this upward trending. So that would be our late Santa rally, stabilizing the economy into the end of the year and moving into expected Q1 2025 type of activity. I think, Trump is going to be very powerful and very good for Bitcoin and crypto, but I still believe we have this breakdown potential within all markets. I mean, really, you come back over here to the SPY again, and you'll see that, I'm telling you that we have this breakdown event carrying, and this is what, 2 hour? We have this breakdown event all the way lasting until roughly Christmas. And then we move into this sideways upward channeling here. Okay. So it really comes down to the point of, are we going to get that breakdown? Are we going to get that anomaly breakdown event as I expect? And we will see. At this point, I've been telling it to you for 3 weeks, a little over 3 weeks, I think, and we will see if that anomaly event plays out. Now, gold is in a crush pattern today, in a trend mode. We are bearish, we are in accumulation. This crush pattern is normally a pretty big day, so get ready for potentially a big move in gold and silver. Given where we're at with this deep rotation and deep selling, my expectation is to the upside, especially with this early morning trending. We'll see if more selling comes in right now. If more selling does come in, it's going to be likely a panic type of a mode. So we need to see what happens. Silver right now has broken the new highs. Gold has closed above recent highs as well. Technically bullish right now. But we are looking at a crush pattern right now in trending mode for gold, and we're looking at an inside breakaway in trending mode for the SPY in bullish trending. I would strongly urge traders, as I have before, to be very, very cautious right now. I mean, yeah, these look like very big moves. It's because of low volatility, but I would urge you guys just to trade with small quantity. A little hint, I'm continuing to watch this over here, this SILJ. I kind of really do like this setup, and especially with the recovery in metals, I think is pending. We've got this deep low. We've got very clear support right back over here. So you've got a very clean little breakdown level in case things go sour. You got this deep low right in this area. And I'm looking for a potential move up into this 1450 area. It's a 22% move in SILJ. And I really do believe that gold and silver are washing out in this big broad uptrend. You can see we're still in a big uptrend. We've kind of pulled back into this, let's call it a wave 2 correction, moving into a big wave 3 to the upside. We'll see how that plays out, but I think this is a very smart move for traders going into really January, February of 2025. I think this is a very smart move. I think silver I think silver miners making a move similar to this even would be, ideal. And that's pretty much the same level I drew. So get rid of this. You're talking again about a 22 to 23% upside potential in SILJ. I think that's very, very smart. And I'm really watching these sectors to see them turn red. So be aware that the sector spiders, I did this research back before the election. If we get the anomaly event, we're going to see the bulk of these all start to turn red. So we need to kind of keep an eye on this as we move forward. Okay, guys, that's it for now. 20 minutes. It should be nice and easy. Get some, and I will be traveling for the next day or two. I'll try to do a morning video tomorrow. But remember, through the holidays, I'm probably going to take a break on Thursday and Friday and Saturday, get my weekend stuff done. So enjoy, everyone. I will talk to you later.